Lakeland Public Television's Common Ground is brought to you by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.
Hi, I'm Roy C. Booth. I am a author, poet, playwright, comedian, game designer, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Well, this kind of event is fantastic because it highlights not only local and regional authors, it also lets the community come in and find out more exactly what it is that we do as artists.
I think having this many writers in this area really enriches the quality of life for the people that are here. And it's been wonderful. For example, I just met my friend Jameson this year, and his book, Blues for Franklin Avenue, is about the life that I lived and we lived in the Twin Cities area, being interested in jazz and blues. And so it was really wonderful to find a kindred spirit like that here and end up next to him at a table at a local author's book sale. But I think it's just like the university brings in people from around the world and a lot of good cultural elements. The writers lend that to a community. And some of their publications bring a spotlight into the community, just like artwork does, and enriches the culture of the area.
What happens in the community is the artist provides the service of enlightening the community, raising consciousness about social injustices, providing insight into other cultures and other worlds, and in that way provides a jumping off point for the dialogue that is necessary for people to come together and to understand one another. I mean, this is a big world, and Bemidji is blessed in that regard because the community is able to see into that larger world and to have perspective and gain insight on what the solutions might be.
My name is Mark Toffel. I'm actually a mechanical engineer for Seagate Technology, but what I've written here is a book called The Raindrop Who Lost His Cloud, and it's a children's book, but it also can be used for people who are just graduating or adults even, and it's about finding purpose in life. It's a little raindrop who's not satisfied with just going to the ocean, so he goes off to find what other raindrops think about as a purpose in their lives, and in the process gets lost, has to join up with a group of rogue raindrops who'd like to do nothing more than just dance around the moon at night and make fog banks. But in the end, he finds a little lost dust speck, and together they discover a purpose and discover the ability to do great things.
My name is Don Hausman, and I'm a visual artist. I also do children's picture books. My specialty is woodcut prints and acrylic paintings of barns. I have a series of paintings of barns called Barns Are Noble. And basically, I stayed busy with my artwork. The stories that I wrote were kind of inspired by the fact that my grandfather never read to me, but he told stories about me and weaved my name and my sister into the stories, and he was a great storyteller. And I guess I just kind of felt that I needed to pass something on to my grandkids and put it in a more permanent way rather than an oral setting. I wrote it down. In any situation like this, just the exposure, the opportunity to have people look at your work, comment, and get feedback. Yeah, you know, you can't estimate the potential of people seeing your work and telling you one good thing or one bad thing or whatever. I guess it's just an opportunity that you can't pass up.
I'm Sean Hill. I'm a local Bemidji poet. I've lived in Bemidji for about 8 years, and I write mostly about history. That seems to be my focus. That's why I tell people, at least. I write about history. This is my first book, Blood Ties and Brown Liquor, and it's about the history of my hometown, Milledgeville, Georgia. Writers are kind of solitary people, at least they have been in the past. I think it's maybe changing a little bit now in the internet age, with blogging and sort of people creating web presences. But generally we're sort of solitary people. This happens, you know, at our desks or wherever, in the coffee shop, by ourselves. And so I'm really heartened to see this many people here. There's like 30 people, local writers here, people I don't know, I haven't seen. So at some point I need to get up and wander around and meet people myself instead of manning my table. So yeah, this kind of event makes me feel like I'm in a good place, a very lively place.
Today I'm here to talk about my 2007 graphic novel, Gods of Asgard, which is a graphic novel adaptation of stories from Norse mythology. This won a grant from the Zurich Foundation in 2007 and was published then and has been sort of hitting the stores ever since.
Years ago, I had an experience where I lost my diamond bracelet. And through that, I really felt like I need to write a book. And so the title was always Diamonds in the Garbage. I knew the title, but I wasn't quite sure of the content. So the content, when I decided to write, changed from being interviews about wonderful women in my life to actually my own personal journey. And it is a book that meets many genres. It's probably Christian inspirational, self-help, women, and definitely has a Minnesota flavor. And it's a lot of stories that I have written since being a teenager to being a grandmother, and that I think everybody can empathize with. And it was just really a journey of the heart. It was something I've always wanted to do, and I finally just had the courage to do it. So this is the end result, Diamonds in the Garbage. This is my first book festival book signing. I've never done this before. So it's really fun to come and look around and say, okay, now when I do this again, what do I need to do different? And it's also just exciting to be a published author. I mean, it's a huge thing, and I applaud anybody who has had the courage to write, no matter what their material is. It takes a great deal of inside courage to put something out on paper.
I've published 6 novels, and I have a 7th coming out. First 4 were for young adults, and then my murder mystery book and my Civil War novel. I spent 6 years in the military and in some pretty nasty places, and so this was kind of a translation of my own military experience in a setting that was more familiar to the average American reader. It's as close to historical as I could possibly make it. I spent a year just researching the book before I even started writing it. And it's about Missouri and Kansas, the guerrilla war during the Civil War. So I spent about 3-4 months in Missouri and Kansas studying at the historical societies and the colleges, universities, studying the actual events. It's nice to see that there's this many people in the area who love books. It's just been wonderful in that regard. And all the events have been good, and they've been well attended, and people are excited about it. And so that is very positive and makes me very happy to be a part of it. So every kind of book you can imagine is here, and passion for every kind of book is here. And it's infectious.
If you enjoyed this segment of Lakeland Public Television's Common Ground, consider making a contribution at lptv.org. If you have segment ideas pertaining to North Central Minnesota, contact us at legacy@lptv.org. Common Ground is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund by the vote of the people on November 4th, 2008.